If Genesis chapter 2 tells us that God placed man in the garden, man and woman in the garden, to work it and keep it, and we know Genesis chapter 2 comes before the fall of man, so work was God's design for mankind before sin came in and messed everything up. So if that was the case, if God designed us to work, then will there be work in heaven? I think it's a fascinating question because I think we've had these pictures over the years of what I like to call Warner Brothers theology, right? Wile E. Coyote, he's chasing the Roadrunner, he runs over the cliff and he hangs there in midair for a few seconds and then he plummets to the bottom and then he floats up in the air on a cloud and he's playing a harp, right? And this is kind of our idea of what heaven is going to be like. It's kind of this amorphous thing. We're just going to sit around all day, chill, probably, binge watch Netflix and just scroll through our Facebook feeds all day long. That's what we're heading for and we're destined for. But I think we really have to look at the totality of Scripture, right? And if we look at Genesis chapter 2, that God placed man in the garden to work it and keep it, then sin messed everything up, right? It took us away from God's presence, but that ultimately, through Christ, we are heading back into right relationship with God, and ultimately, heaven is going to be about the resurrection, the redemption, and the renewal of what God intended all along. So I think we're pressing towards not the annihilation of our work and our everyday work, but we are heading towards the fulfillment and the culmination of what God originally designed from Genesis chapter 1 and 2. We're going to see that revisited. And so I think there will be work in heaven. I think there's going to be all kinds of things that we never would have imagined, and they're going to be redeemed and restored, and they are going to be the way God intended them to be, because we will be literally living in His presence, in relationship with Him, in the way that He always longed for and desired before sin messed things up. So yes, I do think there will be work in heaven.